I worked in the United States Department of Justice as the United States prosecutor and rose to the ranks there, and then ended up serving as a federal judge, as the U.S. magistrate judge for the Northern District of Florida. Throughout that time, I worked in the legislative branch as well, and so when you work in all three branches of the federal government, you begin to see things, and you see how it's possible that government can use its power in ways that are good, but you can also see how they can use it in ways that are very, very bad. And one of the ways that I observed was that, not just in the United States, but throughout the world, government used its power very often in ways that substantially interfered with a person's freedom of thought and freedom of conscience, and especially freedom of religion. And that really led us to start Salt and Light Global, which was, the ministry that, we started so that somebody could speak for those that, didn't have the power or the money to speak, for themselves. What happened, though, is that we had somebody that was a friend of mine and a supporter of us, that was a friend of President Ellis and supporter of the university here. They kept saying, you two guys need to meet each other. And we're both very busy people, obviously. So finally, she just, got us together for a lunch. And that lunch ended up lasting, half the day. And we saw that we had a shared vision, a common vision of understanding a need in the culture to preserve and to promote freedom of thought and freedom of conscience and freedom of religion, and to fight for the next generation's ability to have the freedom to educate. One thing led to another, and we ended up launching this center, and with the help of some very generous donors, we recently dedicated the center and launched it. And so we're now here getting ready to promote freedom of thought, freedom of conscience, and freedom of religion. We have this Faith and Freedom Fellowship that is going to be available to the students here at the university. And what that involves is a discipleship component where we will work one-on-one with the student with regard to a biblical worldview, and also, building character, that kind of thing. There's going to be a supercharged on steroids internship experience. And so some of my former fellows in the past have worked on U.S. Supreme Court briefs or on comments that were filed before the federal government, or testimony or something before, the U.S. Congress or our state legislature. And so imagine a nurse who is studying to be a nurse here at the university, having the opportunity to be mentored and discipled by a professor, and then having an internship experience that is just, beyond anything that can be imagined. And so, that's our goal, is to equip that next generation, to engage the culture with the love of Christ, to be fiercely unafraid to speak His truth, to be capable at being able to speak the truth and to answer the hard questions, but to always do it with compassion and respect. The mission of this center seeks to equip the next generation to engage the culture, to preserve and protect freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. And I think if we can get to that place, no matter how deeply divided we are ideologically in this country, we can get to a place where we can peacefully coexist and maybe even save, the republic.